Welcome to another episode of the Meal Prep Monday podcast. I'm your host and founder of Prep Dish, Allison Schaaf. In today's episode, I am talking about my timer hack. Before we get into the episode, I have some feedback that I wanted to share about our new Instacart shopping links that we are providing for you if you are a Prep Dish subscriber. So these Instacart links, it's a button that you click and it takes you to a grocery cart that is already filled with all of the ingredients that you need for the Prep Dish meal plan of your choice that week. After you click on that, you can choose, which grocery store you want to use. You can edit it to increase or decrease the amounts, change for favorite brands, add on additional staples that you might need for the week. But overall, the idea is it's a one click and you have your shopping cart. It takes grocery shopping from, going to the store and taking a long time to doing it online and saving time to one click. And this should be 10 minutes or less and your groceries are ordered and on their way that week. If you are not a Prep Dish subscriber and want to try out this feature, go to prepdish.com/MPM. That will give you 2 weeks free of our meal plans, and all of the meal plans have these links, these pre-filled shopping cart links. So again, it's prepdish.com/MPM if you want to try out our meal plans, as well as these time-saving Instacart links. Okay, so for today's episode, I wanted to originally I was going to talk about kind of time tracking. I know in the past I've talked about this, I just internally, I've talked about time a lot because that's the idea behind the meal plans is how can I save you time? What is your time worth? What are the different pieces involved with getting dinner on the table? How much time do these pieces take? And are there ways that I can make it quicker for you and easier and more enjoyable, like we talked about in a previous episode? But today I want to talk about some hacks for time. So I'm going to back up really quick. I am someone who, at least for my work time, I do track my hours for work. I like to know how much time various tasks take me. A lot of times it's interesting how something will feel like you put off a task. And you're like, it's such a big task and this is going to take forever. And then if I time it, it's like, that took 55 minutes. Why did I put that off for 2 weeks? There might be a task and you're like, I'm just going to jump on and post something on Instagram. It'll just be 10 minutes. And next thing you know, it was 55 minutes. So it's really for me, I've just found it really helpful to know how much different things take in terms of time. And this is a very side note, but I think I've mentioned on here, I'm in the middle of writing a memoir. It's been ongoing. It's making good progress. It's a long process. And I write not every morning. I write most mornings. I track my time when I'm writing. It is crazy, but 9 times out of 10, I will write and then I'm done. And when I look, it's been 40 minutes, sometimes 38 to 40 minutes, sometimes 44, but it is insane how many days it's 40 minutes on the dot. And I'm not trying to do 40 minutes. I could do less. I could do more. My goal is, every day before I jump into my workday, I am going to write a little bit, work on a story, just get in there and do something. I don't have expectations on how long that will take, but for whatever reason, my mind, my writing, I tend to tap out at 40 minutes. And it's just kind of funny. It's almost like, your sleep cycles. It doesn't matter what you do. It's just you kind of go to bed and wake up with the same amount of time. So again, I know that's sort of a digression, but it's just interesting when you start to pick up how long things take. And then you can start to be more intentional with things. And you can start to be more realistic on planning and that type of thing. So when it comes to meals and mealtime and all the different things that are involved with making it happen, my hack for getting through maybe a week where you're less motivated to do those different pieces. I've had weeks when I'm like, I don't want to get the groceries. And next thing I know, it's we literally get the groceries a day later than we're supposed to, because I was just there were so many things on my list and I just didn't have the mental capacity to go through and do it. Or, you get to dinner and you were going to do the meal prep and you didn't. So next thing you know, it's just I have to wing it with this other meal that I wasn't planning on with, items from the pantry. But one thing that I have found is really helpful for getting over those mental hurdles of like putting something off. And this is really for anything that you are putting off. I'm going to use it in terms of meals and the things that go into that, but just setting a timer and seeing how long something actually takes. A good example or a good place to start with this is emptying the dishwasher. I have timed myself emptying the dishwasher. I don't do it every time. I've done it like 3 times, but I do it just to remind myself, like anytime I'm starting to be like, oh, the dishwasher. And now I've realized I actually enjoy it because it is dishwasher emptying is kind of this task where it's quick, it's easy. I don't really have to think. And it's kind of this nice little, I can't remember what they call this. Like, when you wake up, it's good to make your bed and like right away get all these tasks completed, like these small tasks, because it starts this momentum of like accomplishing and doing things. And I think emptying the dishwasher is a good example of like you do this small task and you accomplish something. So then it gets you on this momentum of like, well, bring on the next thing and I'll do that. And then you jump into work and you're like, well, I'm already, getting things done. And so it just kind of is this cascade or this momentum of these quick wins. And then they lead to like more throughout the day. So that's one thing that I like to, if I'm ever feeling unmotivated to do it, just time it really quick and be like, oh yeah, that was like 2.5 minutes. Not a big deal. I can do that. I can do that twice a day if I needed to, like not a big deal. So I would encourage you, if there's any piece right now, if you didn't listen to that reflection last week, this is, a little bit of a build on that reflection that I did. But if there's a piece of the mealtime process that you dread or that you don't look forward to or that's not fun for you, try setting a timer. So for example, how long, and this is something I've done a lot with the grocery shopping because I knew we were going to incorporate these Instacart links. Grocery shopping, I've done it. I pretty much have been shopping online and doing delivery for the past few years. Every now and then I'll be in a store if I need to, but usually I'm doing online grocery shopping. I would often put it off because it was a task that I found myself doing a lot of times on the weekend. And so it's hard because it's like family time. And I would time myself. It was usually around 30 minutes, sometimes as little as 20 minutes, and then up to like 35 minutes. So not like extremely long, a little harder to fit in though, when you've got little kids running around and 2 of mine don't even nap anymore. So, it's a little hard to find that block of time, but it's easier to do it in a block versus like doing a little bit and then coming back to it, right? Like you don't really want to just do pieces of it. So that was one that I was like, oh my gosh, like it's not that hard. It's not that long, but it's just long enough that it was tedious. So now, with Instacart links, under 10 minutes, it's so quick. It's so easy. I don't have to put it off. So that's one that I've been really, grateful for. So that's kind of like the new one that I want you to time. But it's interesting because in the past, I don't even remember. It was like 2016 when we introduced our super fast meal plans. Those are the meal plans that are an hour or less of meal prep. And the whole idea behind it was like, your meal prep doesn't have to take a long time. Set a timer. We challenge you, set a timer, see how long the actual prep time takes. And I remember when we first did this, I was a newlywed. So me and my husband were living in Puerto Rico, and I used to have him do the meal prep because I knew for me, like, I went to culinary school. So my chopping is going to be a little bit quicker than the average person. And, I have a lot of hours in the kitchen, so I'm a little quicker. And I would give it to him and I was like, okay, can you do the meal prep today and set a timer and see how long it takes? And if he could get it to like 55 minutes or less, I was like, bam, we're in. Like that's a super fast plan. So that's how we used to test the plans. I would actually set a timer and have someone, or we would have people on our team that would test those just to see like how long it would take them to do the meal prep and to make sure it was an hour or less. So that was a piece that we used to always time. And we still make that promise of like the idea behind the super fast plans is if you choose to do the meal prep piece, it's an hour or less, and then you're set up for the week. Another area where you could do the timer is with doing dishes. Just say, okay, dinner's over. Let's set the timer for 10 minutes and see how much we can get done. Because you can always do that. I'll do that with the organizing or tidying sometimes. Okay, we're going to like tackle this area. Can we just start with 20 minutes? So half the time we do that. And then next thing you know, it's 2 hours later and we like finish the whole room. But sometimes it's like, okay, we do 20 minutes. That's all we have. We got something else going on. But then like, we kind of keep coming back to it in like 20-minute chunks of like doing this task, whether it's like organizing the pantry or something like that. I don't know. I feel like my husband and I do that a lot with like going through things. Like we'll just set a timer and be like, we're going to do it for this amount of time. Even if it doesn't get done, you can get a good chunk of it out of the way. So anyway, but going back to the whole point of like, if there's something that you're procrastinating in your life, try the timer trick, especially if it's related to meals. If there's any piece that maybe you're not loving, do a quick, it just helps to like mentally wrap your head around things. And for me to just kind of shift my idea on things, especially if I start to think about something more negatively, I can be like, oh, no, like just shift it. Like, oh, this is only this much time and like, it's not that bad, and kind of just shift my whole perspective on it. So I would love it if you were able to try out this timer trick. If you do, reach out to me at Prep Dish on Instagram. If you're in our Facebook group, feel free to share there. Is there something this week related to meals, not related to meals? Use the timer hack. Let me know how it goes. Hopefully it helps to shift your perspective, maybe eventually, save some time, but I think it's a fun one. So that's all I have for today. A reminder that if you have not tried our meal plans, we have those super fast ones, an hour of meal prep. We also have gluten-free, paleo, low carb plans. All of them have these Instacart links, which takes your grocery shopping down to like 10 minutes. Tell me how long it takes. I would say 10 minutes. Challenge you to to let me know if it's more or less for you. But those plans, we have 14 days free at prepdish.com/MPM. So prepdish.com/MPM, short for Meal Prep Monday, to try out our meal plans for 2 weeks for free. That is all I have for this episode. I'll be back again next